want to give my state of the program for the Baylor men's basketball team. And they obviously finished in the round of 32 with a loss to Duke, which was not a surprise to me. And I knew once that draw came out, and even if Baylor did beat Mississippi State, the probability of beating Duke was very low. I mean, 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10. You get the point. 89-66 was the final score, and Baylor did finish the year with 20 wins and 15 losses, 10-10 in the Big 12, which was good enough for 7th in the conference, as we all know. And I'm just going to say this right now. The roster was not constructed correctly. First of all, not a lot of height, especially in the front court. Second, the injuries have hurt them this year, and you cannot deny it. For example, Langston Love not playing right away with that ankle injury that he had a year ago, like re-aggravated it. Then once he came back to play, VJ got hurt for a game or two with the hamstring. Then Jeremy Roach got concussed twice during the season. And you cannot deny that. And then by the time we got all the healthy guys available for the Utah game for beginning of conference, Jan Celestine goes down with an ankle. And then Langston Love was out for a while, too. I mean, I'm just with that ankle. Then he came back, and Jeremy Roach came back from that concussion. And in that first TCU game, if you don't recall, and it was at home on February, it's in January, I know that. January 19th, he was trying to get the ball off of the TCU guy and got concussed again. And he had to take some time to get him back. And by the time you got all your available guys again for the UCF game on February 8th, first 5 minutes, Josh Uzuwuna had a knee injury. Of course, he was out for the year, and the Baylor frontcourt was already a problem anyway because of lack of height. It got worse. They had to go small ball. They had to. So, very tough year. Not like within the last 5 years or anything like that. It's more like that. It's kind of similar in a way to that 2018-2019 with finishing at around 32 and losing to a 1 seed. It is similar. And this season was a little bit of disappointment in terms of result. And it's not because of lack of effort. It's just the results of the results of all those games. I will say there should be a lot of changes happening. And I'm not just talking about the roster either. Maybe there is an assistant and Bill Armstrong that could leave to take the Mid-East State men's basketball job. That could happen, but that's a TBD. And they only have like one high school guy, and that's Tunde Yusufu right now. That's it. And I know they've had one visitor, but I don't. Unless I think otherwise, I think he's going to go somewhere else. But they only had him on a visit in case he potentially goes to the transfer portal to have a relationship. Because you cannot deny that point here. And another thing I'm going to mention is Norchad Omier did his role very well. Yes, I know the fouls at times and frustration with him on the turnovers. But you cannot deny what he did. This year, he's second all time in double doubles in NCAA men's basketball history, and he did it from Arkansas State to Miami, Florida, then at Baylor. So 2 power conferences, and he continued that. Who are the definite losses for the team? Obviously, Norchad Omier. Jeremy Roach, yeah, he did not live up to his expectation. And I do think Jay Nunn took a step backwards from last year, and he's going to be gone. Obviously, Davidson Hubbard is gone too, but he was not going to play that much. And VJ Edgecombe, of course, he's going to be a one and done. And I'm not going to say the one and done is not the wrong way to do it or the right way to do it. You don't want to get too old, but you don't want to get too young. I mean, you got to have some type of balance. And yes, it stings to have a year like this with VJ Edgecombe. It does. Yeah, I'm not going to deny it. Yeah, that's really all the definite guys gone. Jaron Celestine did not walk on senior day despite being a senior. He does have another year of eligibility. It's more like, will he stay at Baylor or will he go? And this is pending transfer portal too. Same thing goes for Langston Love, honestly. That guy, he's a good player and all, but he's been injured all his career. Torn ACL right out of the jump, right before the true freshman season began. Then, that eye injury at the end of his retro freshman year. A year ago, the ankle. Then this year, he had some ankle problems. It wouldn't shock me if they decided to part ways. It wouldn't shock me right now. And I know Giannis Jonga has not played at Baylor once in 2 years. He was going to redshirt anyway a year ago, but he tore his ACL and he was recovering from that. So why rush a guy with a torn ACL? So who knows about that situation? What's going on there? Caleb Jackson, I think he's like a walk-on type. I do. And Omar Ajibola, he's on scholarship, I believe. But will he go? I don't know. And Jason Asimona, I do wonder about him. I do think he has potential. It's just he's a little bit raw offensively. I do like his effort on the defense, though. And Marina Dobracic, he played at Sperling at times at the end of the year, at 6'10". But he's a work in progress. But, and obviously Joshua Juwuna, I don't expect him to play right away for next year. You're coming off of a knee injury. You're not going to be ready. Point blank. You're not. It usually takes a year to be back. And this is why I do think, no matter what, Baylor men's basketball has to go get a starting center. You cannot rely on Josh being your starting center next year. You just can't. I also believe they need a backup besides Marino. I do. You got to have more depth, and the team did not have a lot of depth. When healthy, they have a good 8. But beyond that, yeah, that's a problem. They got to fix that right now, and honestly, it needs to be mentioned here that Baylor has to find a way to keep Rob Wright, the third, down here. And hopefully he would be the smallest guy on the court. Hopefully. And nobody shorter than that, as in 6'1". Yeah, you gotta get more length. And the defense at times had issues. Well, yeah, of course, offense, yeah. At times, too. I'm not going to deny it. So, the transfer portal, when I release this video here, it would be today when it officially opens. So, we're going to have to wait and see what happens, and it would not shock me, like I said, to see some guys move on. that are not seniors. Or technically they are seniors, like Jalen Celestine in his case. And decided to move on to another school to get a bigger role. And yes, I know this season was disappointing, but it's not as disappointing as that 2017-2018 team. They made it to the NIT and lost in the second round to Mississippi State, ironically enough. On a shot that the ball hit the rim, went straight up, went straight down. That was a game right there. Or that 2010-2011 team coming off the first Elite Eight and didn't even play, chose not to play a postseason if they didn't get to the NCAA tournament. Or that 2012-2013 team, they didn't. And I'm going to even mention those 2014, 2015, and 2015 and 2016 teams that lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament. They made it further. And you know, whenever there was a year like this, he's always bounced back. I mean, from that 2010-2011 season that didn't even play a postseason, the following year, made to the Elite Eight. From that 2017-2018 team, they made to the NCAA tournament every year. And you know, the 2018-2019 was a round of 32, and of course, if 2019-2020 the NCAA tournament was played, Baylor would have been a possible national champion. But if it was not that year, it was going to be the following year. So I can't really say that 2020-2021 team would have existed, winning the national title, if it wasn't for the season canceling. And I know this team has dealt with injury problems ever since the national championship. I know, and it's frustrating to not go past. But when you look at the draw for this year, it was a just tough draw. And I thought the better route for them was to be a 10 seed to face a 2, potentially, if you beat your 7 seed, and then make it to a Sweet 16. A 9 seed, and you're going to have to play against Duke, one of the best teams in the country, and they're probably expected to win the national championship or up there. You get the whole point. That's just tough. And I know upsets can happen. But still, it's not that great in all this. Now, I do think and I'm not going to just reflect on the Big 12 a little bit here. I do think Houston will take a step back next year. They're going to lose a lot of seniors. I know they got some key seniors. And I know they got high school, but they're going to be younger. And it's not mentioning what they could lose in the transfer portal. And you already know my thought. Kansas was more disappointing than Baylor was. Let's be clear. Kansas lost in the first round for the first time since 2005-2006 season. And they were preseason number 1. And Texas Tech could very well, when you look at it, Texas Tech could very well lose JT Toppin to the NBA draft. They're going to, and obviously Devin Cambridge is no longer playing anymore. And they're going to lose Federico, Elijah Hawkins, and Chase McMillan, and Curran Walton. A few notables, but you get the whole point. And BYU is going to lose Igor Demin. Obviously, he should be a one-and-done type. And I'm really going to focus mostly on the top 4 in the league. Trayvon and Maywat Matt. I don't think Maywat Matt. Yeah, he's like a rotation guy. Fusinet, the Traore from BYU. That's a loss there. So you get, and maybe Cannon Catchings is a one and done type too, but I don't know. It's one of those wait and see though. And obviously Arizona, I don't want to go too much further in depth on the Big 12 because it's 16 teams now, as we all know. And the good news is the Big 12 is going back to 18 conference games, and instead of keeping it out 20. This way, they're going to have more reps in the non-con, whether it's against quality opponents or not. It doesn't really matter. And all this. So, yeah. And I know Arizona does lose Caleb Love and Trey Townsend. Really, that's still bigger, too, because Liam Lloyd is not really a loss. Same thing goes for Luke Champion. Though they could lose, like, Henry V-Star to the NBA draft, or maybe KJ Lewis, but or Carter Bryant. But you get the point. They could lose some guys. So that's really all of the Big 12 I'm really going to focus on here. You could go and you could see Kansas are losing some key pieces, a lot of them, and Iowa State as well, and West Virginia's going to get a new head coach. And I already know TCU is losing some seniors already, but they're also losing a few guys to the transfer portal, including Alette from one of their guards. And I know they have a new head coach, and they're losing some players to the portal. And I know this year had some bad losses, like the Colorado loss, the TCU loss at home, which they need to find a way to beat TCU at home again. They need to, and you know, with 18 conference games next year, they're only play like 3 teams twice, and everybody else just once, whether it's home or away. So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens in the offseason, not just in terms of the roster, but maybe the coaching staff, if there's any movement. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like, subscribe, and see you guys later on the road to 800 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. So my money to scores like video, comment video really helps YouTube algorithm, so more people see. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe button to hit the notification bell as well.